Sean McCartney, with the positive reports on Calvin Austin, how much will we see him this season, and will he be strictly slot or get reps outside?
Man, I think early on, more slot exclusive. Undersized right now, and you want to just see what that does that develop into. Speed is beautiful. Speed kills at this level. But as we've talked about numerous times, you have to be able to beat press, right? And that's something that we have to see him do consistently before you can try to put him on the outside, because on the outside, you're usually on the line of scrimmage, right? Especially if we're talking about playing that X, whereas that's Deontay, right? You're on the line of scrimmage. You typically have nobody that's going to help you get open. So that's the type of stuff. And you heard Pat P say, man, seeing a small receiver on the outside, he has to be fast. That's the key, because those guys typically can't play out there because of the size difference. And if you get your hands on them, now you can't even go jump ball with those dudes. So those are some of the concepts in terms of if he plays outside that he has to deal with. You might catch a guy early on playing off coverage. You might catch a guy, late with his hands. But after it's on tape once or twice, people are going to play that differently. They're going to say, okay, you need to either jump it early or you need to have something over top of it just because of the speed. And if he doesn't develop an actual route tree off of that, then he's just, a poor man's Mike Wallace or a poor man's Ted Ginn Jr. type, where it's literally just straight line. So that's the only thing that I can see holding him back from bumping outside. But I do think early on, you play him in the slot. And schematically,
he has good route running.
Yeah.
Everything we've seen in college, at least.
Yeah. And schematically, it's just a lot easier for him transitioning to the NFL with the routes, because it's like, yeah, you could run a route and get open in college, but the detail is just a lot more in depth when you're talking about running that out route at the NFL level, because you're not going to have that much separation. So now when you talk about the timing of 3 steps, the timing of 5 steps, when you talk about it mattering, 4 steps, that's too soon. 6 steps, that's too late. College, you can get away with it. Pros, that's the difference between it being a pick, there's the difference between it being a PBU, there's the difference between it being a completion, or you catching it with separation and getting a chance to run. So those are going to be the little things that he got to get buttoned up. But I'm hoping for him, man, that he'll be able to get that sooner rather than later. It just sucks that he didn't get the full season last year.
Yeah.
So the reps that he would be getting to stay polished with all that think of like George Pickens, right? Pickens by the end of the season was way nicer than Pickens at the beginning of the season. He was already nice at the beginning, but you could just tell, like, he had been in some battles. He had seen some different DBs. He had been attacked different ways, and now he was just a lot more polished. Calvin just has to get through that. He hasn't got that part just yet. But once he does, man, I think, with that type of speed, if that can develop, yeah, 4.2 speed kills you, especially if it can do some of that. Absolutely.
Q is concerned that Canada doesn't know how to use Calvin Austin.
Oh, no. Everybody knows. Jet sweep. Jet sweep, man. Jet sweep.
That was everyone's reaction whenever they shut him down for the season. We didn't know he was injured and had to get a surgery just yet. Everyone was like, oh, it's just because Canada doesn't know how to incorporate him. Because there were some comments where it was like, I think Canada said it himself. Yeah. I'm not sure how to utilize Calvin Austin right now because he's not exactly up to speed on the playbook or something like that.
Like, just put him out there and have him run fast. I think we talked about that.
We definitely talked
about that.
We definitely did. I'm thinking with Austin, he's kind of become the forgotten man in this receiver room in a way. But with these reports from Pat P and just the speed that he has, can we get him on the field like 30% of the time, 40%? I feel like that's even a low number, but you just get him the ball, maybe give him the ball in space, and you never know what could happen.
I look at it like this. Early on, it won't be as frequently until he shows that it's worth it because of this. Every time you put the ball in Calvin's hands, whether he produces or doesn't produce, that's a target that could have went to George Pickens. That's a target that could have went to Pat Freiermuth. That's a target that could have went to Darnell Washington. It's a target that could have went to Deontay. It's a handoff that could have went to Naj, right?
So Allen Robinson too.
Exactly, and shout out. I ain't mean to forget him, but shout out to Allen Robinson as well. So that's 6 other options. So when we talking about making Calvin a little bit more of a focal point of the offense, he has to make sure that it's justifiable, that it means I can take the ball out of these guys' hands. Because if we seeing a whole bunch of Calvin Austin 3-yard outs, 5-yard slant, we like, all right, bro, that's cool, but man, can Pickens get a shot downfield? You know what I mean? Can we get Darnell something over here and let him get something active? What about Pat working the seam? Like, that's, but if Calvin is taking that 3 and turning it into 10, different convo. No one.
Then
would,
I think it opens it up for everyone. And you want to get him out on the field.
Absolutely. Right. But he just has to show that he can do that. Because if he does, yeah, it opens up everything. But that's when we talk about a guy that has that type of speed, when they can actually produce with it. That's why Tyreek Hill is so dangerous. Like, not only is he fast as heck, but he actually is productive as well. So it makes you really have to have antennas up and change how you play defense versus those type of dudes. If he can show that he can do that, though, it's a great situation for us, though. Absolutely.
He should have preseason to prove that.
Yeah.
Because we got to see, I can't remember with Claypool. How good was he in the preseason? I know Pickens was sick for us last year. So, like, we knew it was like he's going to be our starter.
I low-key don't remember.
I can't remember with Claypool, but there was buzz coming out of training camp and stuff with him.
But the reason why with Claypool, we were also dealing with first year, no AB.
That was COVID year, too.
Yeah, that was all of that going on.
There was no preseason.
Yeah.
No wonder we didn't get to see him in preseason.
You're right. It was just OTAs, mini camp, and then season. Yeah.
So we just got to see him week 1. He had like a couple nice catches against the Giants. And then
Philly.
He had that breakaway one against the Broncos.
Yeah.
In week 2. I think it was that 80-yard bomb. And then, he went off
Philly
against
was it the
Eagles.
4 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, yeah. But scored was it the reverse, the pass?
What happened to that Claypool? What happened to that guy?
What happened to that boy? Yeah.
Dude had like 10 touchdowns like 9 weeks into the season.
Bro, the convo was who gonna be the better player, him or Justin Jefferson. We talked about it for a little bit. It flirted for a little bit, especially with them touchdowns for a little bit. And then it became really clear who was what and who was not what. And it was like, all right.
And he started falling backwards.
Hey,